Have you ever had that feeling, that nagging sense that you're capable of so much more, but something's in the way? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful way of thinking from the podcaster Chris Williamson. It's basically a method for getting out of your own way so you can go and do something truly exceptional. Let's get right into it.
And we're starting right here with what is basically the central, unavoidable truth of this whole idea. You know, this one sentence forces you to make a choice, right? Do you want the normal, average results that everyone else gets? Or are you willing to get a little weird to achieve something different?
So, okay, if being weird is the ticket to getting those amazing results, what's holding us back? It all starts with really understanding the price we pay for being normal. It's that massive gap between what we say we want and, well, what we actually do every day.
And this, right here, this is the perfect picture of how we sabotage ourselves. On one hand, we say, I want to be spectacular. But on the other hand, what do? We try our best to fit in, not to make waves. The problem is you just can't have both. They are pulling in completely opposite directions.
I mean, it's just simple logic, isn't it? If you put in the same stuff as everybody else, you're going to get the same stuff out. It's not magic. So to be exceptional, you first have to accept being an exception. It really just comes down to having the guts to stand out from the crowd.
Okay, so let's see how this builds. Once you've made that decision to step off the well-trodden normal path, you immediately run headfirst into what Chris Williamson calls your personal curse.
And man, this is such a game-changing way to look at it. You know that feeling, that uncertainty, the grind, the is any of this even going to work feeling? That's not a sign that you're failing. It's not some special burden that only you have to carry. Nope, it's the price of admission. It's the cover charge to get into the club. And guess what? Everybody who's ever done anything worth a damn has had to pay it.
And if you think that's just a nice little idea, take a look at this. This is Williamson's own track record. 9, not 1, not 2, 9 failed business ventures. This is literally what paying that price of admission looks like in real life. It's just a string of failures you have to push through, while everyone around you is probably saying, "See, I told you so."
Which brings us to maybe the biggest dream killer of them all. Seriously, it's not that people aren't smart enough or talented enough. It's the fear of what other people are going to say. We are wired to avoid being rejected by the tribe, and that paralyzing fear of criticism stops so many of us dead in our tracks.
So here's the filter. This is your new rule for life, and it's so simple but so powerful. Before you let someone's opinion get into your head, just ask yourself one question. Do they have the life that I want? If the answer is no, then their opinion is just noise. It's irrelevant. You can just let it go.
All right, so you've decided to be weird. You're learning to filter out the noise and the criticism. Great. Now comes what is often the longest, the loneliest, and honestly the most important part of the whole journey, the work no one sees.
I absolutely love this line because it is just so painfully true for all of us. You know that one task you keep pushing down your to-do list? That really uncomfortable phone call you know you need to make? Yeah, that. That is precisely where your next breakthrough is hiding. The magic isn't some secret formula out there. It's buried in the thing you're procrastinating on right this second.
And this just completely destroys one of the biggest myths we're all told. We're told to go find your passion, but you don't find passion, you build it. It looks like this. You start something and you're terrible at it. You just suck, but you stick with it through that awkward phase until you get competent. Then that competence builds confidence and you actually start to enjoy it. And it's only then, way down the road, that other people look at you and say, wow, you're so passionate.
And look, let's just be brutally honest about how long this takes. We all love the Rocky training montage, right? But in the real world, that lonely chapter of grinding away in the dark with zero guarantee of success, that's not a 90-second clip with an epic soundtrack. It can be years, 5 years, maybe more, and you have to be okay with that. So all of this lonely, hard, thankless work, it eventually forces you to face your single biggest opponent, yourself. And this is where it all comes down to winning the inner game. It's all about your mindset, your discipline, and maybe most importantly, your self-trust.
This is really the bottom line. How can you possibly expect to hit some huge, ambitious goal if you can't even trust yourself to do the small things you say you'll do? I mean, think about it. If you had a friend who constantly broke their promises to you, you'd stop trusting them, right? Well, for a lot of us, we are that unreliable friend to ourselves.
And we're not talking about big, life-altering moments. Your self-trust gets destroyed by 1,000 tiny little cuts. Hitting the snooze button, telling yourself you'll eat healthy, then grabbing junk food, skipping that workout. Each one seems so small, so insignificant, but they add up. Every single one is a little vote you cast against yourself, basically teaching your brain that your own word doesn't mean a thing. So how do you fix this? You start right here, with just one promise that you keep to yourself. Just don't hit snooze tomorrow morning. That's it. That's win number 1 for the day. You start your day by proving to yourself that your word is law. That is how you build momentum. That's how you start to rebuild that trust.
This completely flips how we think about motivation. We think motivation is this feeling we have to wait for before we can get started. It's not. Motivation is what you get after you start. When you do the thing, even when you don't feel like it, you are literally creating motivation out of thin air. You're proving to yourself that action comes first, feelings come later.
And that brings us to the final, unavoidable, inescapable conclusion of this entire framework. After all the mindset work, after all the planning, it all comes down to one simple 3-word command.
First off, we love to prepare, don't we? Making lists, buying the gear, reading another book, it feels so productive. But it's just a very clever disguise for procrastination. It is not doing the thing.
Next up, scrolling through social media, being jealous or critical of people who've already done what you want to do. It's such a massive waste of energy, and it is definitely not doing the thing.
And yep, I'm going to call us all out. Even consuming content like this, as useful as it might feel in the moment, it is still not the action itself. It's learning, it's getting ready, but it's not the work that actually moves you forward.
And there it is, the big punchline. There are no shortcuts, there are no secret hacks. At the end of the day, the only thing that counts as doing the thing is actually doing the thing. Period.
So let's end on this. It's a really powerful, kind of haunting thought. Williamson says that true hell is that moment at the end of your life when the person you are gets to meet the person you could have been. That gap between those two people, it's closed by the choices you make every single day. So the only question left to ask is, who are you choosing to be starting right now?